What is up, my fellow WildRift addicts? It's time for a 90% win rate Riven in the Baron lane. This sounds very scary to me, and honestly, I have big issues believing that one. But with this gameplay, we'll take a good look as to how true this truly is. So, what is good about Riven and what is bad about Riven? When it comes to Riven, there are a few things you need to understand. Riven as a champion is very powerful level 1, level 2, level 3, and on the level 5 power spike. But as the game progresses, she grows weaker and weaker and is really dependent on you to mess up. So if you don't die in the early game into Riven, Riven is not really that much of a scary champion. In the later stages though, as I said specifically, with the access to ultimate and potential resets, this champion becomes a potential problem. But yeah, in this stage of the game, Ornn just has to chill back, farm from range, and outscale the Riven, because in a teamfight, Ornn is indefinitely more valuable than Riven can ever be. The reason for that one is that Ornn just has to press ult, and life is wonderful, plus he's super chunky. Riven, on the other hand, can be relatively squishy, so you have to keep that one in mind. And you see here, the Ornn takes really bad trades consistently, loses so much HP for zero reason, and makes his life a lot harder. So now I'm wondering if the Lee Sin actually is going to come here for like a cheeky dive. He even skipped one of his camps to potentially do this. Very odd to do so. We also know for a fact that the top side camps are already gone thanks to the ward we have here, so the enemy jungle can't really react to this play. One more wave, the Lee Sin has time for the Scuttle Crab into then the top lane dive. Ornn is not level 3 yet, he has to be careful about the cannon minion. If the next cannon minion dies, Ornn hits level 3. I think he even hits level 3 of this melee minion. Okay, this can be a problem now. Okay, they swiftly execute him, pretty low HP here. Very well done, enemy jungle couldn't be here thanks to what we've seen. So, what just happened on your screen? The Riven abused her early game power to create a slow push into the enemy tower, which suffocates the enemy in terms of XP, and then they used a massively stacked wave to kill the enemy top laner. This is something that is very powerful, but requires your jungle to understand what he's doing. So if in your games you don't see this happening, don't be surprised. It's normally like a really standard play, but in WildRift terms, it's probably, you know, a sovereign level play. And again, he goes for some big trades on the Ornn, avoids the brittle auto, which is the most damage Ornn can do. So he goes for quick little trades, you see. Doesn't really want to extend these too much, because otherwise he gets out-traded, because Ornn is a really wholesome champion. And we see the enemy jungle pathing up here. Let's see if he actually hides in a brush somewhere. Okay, he doesn't. He hides behind the wall. Works the same. Now, since the wave is neutral, the Ornn has to walk up eventually, and Riven can debate just zoning the Ornn from EXP and gold again, and then prepare another dive scenario. The problem now is with Ornn level 5 is that Ornn can simply ult and clear the wave. That's why Ornn is so difficult to punish. Since he's way too tanky and has way too much access to wave clear tools. But the thing is, the Ornn has to understand what's about to happen. Okay, Ornn right now needs to press ult, or it is really dangerous for him. Okay, they back off immediately. I personally, as an Ornn, would have ulted the wave, just to be sure. At the moment, Lee Sin walks too close to my tower. Unless I already know that, for example, like, because we don't have limited information. For example, if we know that the Lee Sin is getting counter-ganked by the Gragas, and the Gragas already close, then obviously I wouldn't. But if I was left alone here, I would have most definitely done so. Okay, we are getting closer to the Eclipse, so we have super high raw AD. With the durability patch, the Eclipse shield gained a little bit of value since people don't get one-shot that fast. it's still not the best item, and only a few champions can ever even think of building it. For example, Fiora. Fiora does it because of her insane 80 scaling of her passive. With Gluttonous Greaves as well as Eclipse, I think every Vital of yours does 10.4% max HP or 11.4% max HP. I'm not quite certain. And yeah, if you're wondering what's happening here, the Riven uses her Prior over the Gragas to just force plays. And it's not about the dragon itself, yeah? They don't go for dragon for the sake of getting dragon, they go for the dragon for the sake of actually fighting. Because the gold they gain from the fight that they know they'll win due to the champion differential, or they assume they'll win, is just way too powerful. It's way too much gold they gain from the kills and way too much pressure around the map that they don't want to miss out on that one. That's just something you have to understand, that most of the time, it's not even about getting the dragons, it's simply about getting these advantageous fight situations around objectives or areas that you know the enemy will be around, which in this case was dragon. Okay, Riven on the chill hunt here. Picking up the Eclipse in base now, then afterwards going for the Thunder Sky. Thunder Sky adding some extra sustain to the kit of Riven. Plus, it's a very interesting item when it comes to one-shotting squishies, since you have a lot of AD once you gain, once you put on your ultimate, and then if you auto-attack a squishy, since the auto-attack will always crit, well, it's not a real crit, it's like it's a Thunder Sky crit, it's like a fake crit, yeah? But since the goal of Riven is getting the enemy low enough for you to execute him, it perfectly fits into how she wants to be played. Ornn looks like she's in a bit of trouble down there. Yeah. To be expected. Can't really stay alone on this far tower as an Orianna into Thresh and Yasuo. Or you'd invest your ultimate to just clear away from max range. It's like the best thing you can do, realistically speaking. Gragoose sees here. Let's see if he tries to kill him. He'll definitely hard trade him. Oh my god, that damage. He is so fed. Like, for example, I wouldn't have expected this damage, because frankly speaking, I don't play a lot of Riven, yeah? I'm like 90 years old. You think I'm gonna play some Riven? When I play Lee Sin is already enough for me. But yeah, Riven has a very interesting amount of damage in her kit. Because, for example, every time she uses an ability, you see below her bar, that is like the passive stacks, and this scales with a total AD. I think it's up to... how much is it later? I don't actually know the full... is it 50%? Of her AD she gets on top and bonus damage, or was it a little bit less? I don't know. Like, I remember they changed jungle scaling ages ago, and she still has a goddamn fast jungle clear. But yeah, every single time she uses an ability, she does bonus damage after an auto attack. That's why it's so important to always weave in auto attacks. Luckily in this game it's relatively easy, because the champion most of the time plays itself outside of key situations. And still you have to make good decisions with how you sequence abilities, because that's one of the most important parts of Riven. Plus knowing your damage. Because this champion is a heavy committal champion, which means you go in. And once you're in, getting out is not necessarily that easy. So your champion loves to just go in and kill everyone. Cleaver seems to be the next item of choice. You see, all the items he has after Eclipse feature one thing: raw AD and HP. You see, Thunder Sky, Black Cleaver, Stark's Gauge, all of these items have a lot of AD and HP, giving her a lot of extra tankiness, but you have to keep in mind, HP in the early game is Omega broken. HP in the late game is only really effective if you have resistances. That's what you have to keep in mind constantly when you play. For example, that's why the first item on so many champions, like Heartsteel, is so unbelievably OP or Warmox. It's actually funny that people believe that Warmox is like inherently a bad item. It's just more about in solo queue. The idea about the macro play is so different from how it should be that Heartsteel is just usually the better choice. For example, for supports. If the game quality was higher, Warmox would be so much better for support. Enemy team does a little bit of a for funzy rotation. Vayne is still fighting up there. Vayne is completely alone as it seems. No, Ornn is still there, but it will not be enough. We have ult flash combo, and we get a free pickup. QSS, the potential CC. Ornn is on the run. Will he even get away? I don't think so. At this point, you should just take the death, like accept his death, not use any cooldowns anymore, and just wait for him to respawn. Because now, for example, he used Gargoyle as an enchant for what reason? Like, he was dead anyways. Doesn't do anything. But there might be a world in which there's a fight after he respawns, and then there will be a window of time in which he will not have Gargoyle. So, since he was dead already, there was no point of him using the cooldown, because he doesn't gain anything in return. If there was something to gain, it would be a different story. But yeah, was not much to do. Yes, 3.5k gold. Does he really want to do this? The Yasuo was so meticulously checking the brush, and then nothing was in there, and then suddenly, oh, wait. Somebody is indeed in there. But yeah, but we have to find a recall timer. We have too much gold. 3.7k nearly. It's a cleaver, and he immediately goes... He has so much AD right now. And he also runs Conqueror. That is such a big amount of AD. I think if he presses ult, it's more than 400, right? I think so. I think it is. Enemy team tries to do some fancy stuff with the Vayne and Thresh on the other side of the map, but apparently the Thresh wasn't able to get her a lantern, because that's what you can do with the Thresh. As an AD carry, you can just overextend relentlessly, and the Thresh can just throw the lantern and bail you out most of the time. Flash away from the Gragas. We just one tap. Wait, he lived? I was about to say, yeah. How did he just not take damage? Does he have plated caps? I didn't pay attention to the numbers on his character, because if you see like for example 200 damage and it's like minus 30, that's usually the indicator that he has the boots that are good against your damage type. So for Riven it would be plated caps. I think he has plated caps. I think I saw a proto belt with plated steel caps. Not leaving a ward in the enemy jungle? Suspicious. But yeah, he is Omega fed, he has flash for the next fight, and he has Baron buff, so... The enemy team is in a lot of trouble. Ah, but they know he's coming. Orianna just had a little oopsie, for whatever reason. Yeah, hitting the tower here. Next dragon is spawning, Red Buff is also spawning. They have full control over the enemy jungle, full vision control, everything. So there's no chance for the enemy to ever get anything done here. Was it their soul? I think so, right? Yeah. And it's the Ice Dragon soul. Oh my god, the combo. That was so close. Damn, that Gragas really played him. Like he... Oh, It's like, oh, we don't know you're here, and then surprise. It's my favorite. Many people in WildRift, or generally, they don't know how to play clueless. Like, for example, if you observe every map hacker in this game, you will see that they'll always have a direct line of vision from their character to your character. And the funny part is, it actually helps you, for example, if they happen to walk over a ward, if they know where you are, because they don't pay attention to such details. The same applies to other champions or other players, that when you're on a ward, they start acting weird. And then that information can tick you off and then you stop getting caught by them. But if people truly understand how to play clueless, you don't have any way of telling. But it's very difficult because you have to actively know what is happening and instantly deal with your own, reflexes, so you don't fall victim to them. And I was thinking about something. When I did some of the VOD reviews over at Patreon, like there's like, I think for this month or for this year, there's already like 15 or something, like 15 different reviews and coaching sessions about how to improve at WildRift. Maybe I can condense some of them to showcase very interesting information about concepts of the game that will most definitely help you play a lot better. And by a lot better, I mean what most Sovereign players have no clue about nowadays. Also, it's kind of funny how you see Fresh Lantern and the tether, that it tells you what's happening around this area. Okay, Yasuo didn't find a good angle to ult here on the Ornn ultimate. Now he finds a good angle onto the onto the Gragas ultimate. We're going into the backline, get one reset with the ult, and now we see why Riven is such a problematic champion. She just got one reset with the ult, and now it's a chain reset. That's one of the saddest things to happen. If Riven doesn't get the kill herself, she actually doesn't get the reset. And that is so incredibly lucky, because it's too goddamn OP. And this is exactly the situation which I was referring to. When I mean that Riven in late game is exactly that one scenario. Okay, on this screen we see Riven against Singed. Singed cannot play this at all. So what is Riven supposed to do here? Deny the Singed access to the wave. So what does the Singed have to do here? The Singed can't lane and has to try and proxy. He has to try to get to lane through enemy jungle. If Riven can deny this, then Singed can't play. Okay, early ward being placed, and you see Singed can't do anything. It's so sad. Like he's just a victim of Riven. He has to immediately recall level 1 because you already know he can't go to the wave. So he will start bleeding minions level 1. Has the super home guard though, we have to keep that one in mind. There's even a chance, oh no, he actually comes back to lane. She's trying to zone him from XP as much as possible. He has flip level 1. Huh. I guess to just make sure he's a little bit safer. And yeah, you see this, the Singed has to fight for every bit of minion. But the Riven has to be a little bit more careful about approaching him because of the flip. But yeah, fundamentally speaking, it's the same as in the Ornn matchup. The Singed has to chill back and do nothing. If he does anything, he does. The Aatrox jungle clear is a lot slower than what it is on other champions. Singed looked for an angle to get the flip in, gets the flip in, not much will happen. Tank 2 tower shots. This is still in kill range, by the way, yep. He messed up though, because he forgot about this, the root. The funny part is, this doesn't remotely matter. It doesn't matter because it doesn't help Singed win the lane. Singed is a champion that doesn't want to play lane. Like, he really doesn't, because he can't win. He is reliant on you being stupid. That is what Singed does. And if you're not stupid, well, then it's simply over for you. Getting the ult, We still have Flash available. Get tagged by Lilia E so we can't move for the next 10 business days. Like you see, we are chilling in Singed Poison and nothing happens to us. We just chilled in there for the last 19 days. If Singed does anything funny here, he might actually just die. He's alone here. Nobody is here to assist him. Flip, and Singed walks away. Singed actually going full AP. Singed being spotted. Oh, we have to be careful. We can actually die here. Oh, never mind. We are... Isn't it funny how the fight started and how the Singed made the mistake of believing he could win? And then because it wasn't a perfect play by him, he just died. Wow. And how fast he died even. It's the funniest part. And if you're wondering why the Riven just did what she did, she has to accelerate the clear as fast as possible from the wave because she wants to save as much time as possible. Because she can't just wait in lane. Because if she waits in lane, the Singed will come back and then there's an angle for the Singed to achieve something. Now the Riven has time to walk back to lane when the wave will meet on neutral grounds. And then with the Scorpion, get pushed towards her anyway. But yeah, Singed needs to be, like, at all times super careful. Don't forget, he's full AP, he's not tanky in any way. Singed wants to cross, because that's the only way he can play. If he doesn't cross, he will not be able to play the lane again. And this is exactly what the Singed wants to do. He wants to constantly avoid any possibility of having to lane. Yeah, but there's just only so much he can do. The problem is, this doesn't get any better. It really doesn't. But Singed during teamfights is a force of crazy power. Why is that? Singed damage is not necessarily limited to one target only. Singed damage is an AoE poison field that is left behind, and if people walk through it, they take a decent amount of damage considering he goes full AP. Well, it's more like a lot once they're full AP. Yeah. Lilia running, does he actually survive? Oh no, she has to escape from the Gwen. Gives the reset to the Riven though. Arguably, you can say it might have been better to just die to the Gwen. But yeah, I guess they don't want to realistically fight here. Oh! He might be dead here. Flip. Oh no, the field wore off. So he didn't get rooted and therefore didn't die. It's so good for him. Big money on the other side of the map as well as a Scorpion to pick up. The ultimate of Riven also comes up soon again. So there's little chance for the Singed to do anything. Flip, but bro still dies. I hate Riven. Luckily, Riven in lane is not as powerful as she is in jungle. Why is my jungle stealing my stuff? This is actually griefing by the jungle, by the way. He just stole so much gold from the Riven for zero reason. Like, for literally zero reason. Yeah, goodbye, Lilia. Enemy picked Riven. She's fed. It's mid-game. Yeah, enjoy just dying on cooldown. Are you telling me they failed diving a Vayne? Wow. That is indeed some crazy work. Nice targeting by the Riven, going immediately for the backline champion instead of wasting time with the Blitzcrank. Really, really, really well done. Many people would just tunnel on the Blitzcrank, not realizing what's happening behind the screen. Nobody saw what just happened, yeah? Balls of steel. Oh, the Vayne is a lot tankier. She has plated caps as well as Trinity Force, so this champion is actually quite tanky. Okay, Lilia's up here. Okay, nice banana combo. Flash on top of him, bomba. Yep, number 1 dies. She will not die, she's too fast. Maybe if Aatrox catches up. Why did she just... Okay. I guess. I guess. Why not? Once she has more, by the way, it's so over for them. Like, Singed already has super trouble, but with how accelerated the Riven is, Lilia will be incapable of dealing damage to this champion. Like, she will simply be too tanky. Because every single hit is going to recharge that shield by probably half of its full size. So you're in for a lot of trouble, honestly speaking. Lilia is 0-4 Singed. It's also not looking too hot right now. Getting closer and closer to our Maw. Maw is such a broken item, it's insane. Now Lilia being spotted. He can't get hooked out. Flipped in, thrown around like a tennis ball. Riven can't move. This is one of the problems that Riven faces in teamfights. If the enemy team has plenty of CC, you just get thrown around. There's not much you can do about this one. So preferably, you have to jump on the enemy, or they don't have cooldowns, or they don't have champions that can actually do anything into you. Because that's the hardest part that Riven usually struggles with. But yeah, if you're winning already and the enemy team doesn't really have anything to stop you, you can just walk in head first and completely roll over them. The WildRift way. Now the minions slowly dying to Singed farting all over them. The flip, but we will survive. Oh, but there's a Camille. We get the healing from the Sunder Sky though. We still have another ult charge here. Oh, sadly she gets away. The Vayne is now here super fast. Should be fine though, because the Aatrox is peeling her away pretty well, but now the Aatrox will be in trouble. Yeah, gets Camille ulted, can't survive. Now the Maokai is here alone and there's somebody in the river. Ah, well, the enemy team just completely smoked them. Because they were far more aware. Ultimate 20 seconds. If they get onto the Vayne, it's actually winnable. Nice turn by the Blitzcrank. Immediately changing direction and changing the target. Oh, we are dead here. It was a nice attempt, but this completely threw the game. Because now the Vayne got so many kills in sequence. Because that is something you don't want to do into Vayne. You don't want to give her these 1v1v1v1 scenarios. This is actually where she shines the most. Like, it's the only scenario in which Vayne is actually good. In these 1v1v1v1 duelist scenarios. And giving her more gold allows her to reach a point where she can just walk into you. In this game, she's even... It looks like she's going for a big armor and HP item. Yeah, she's going to be so tanky this game. But the same issue still remains. Vayne takes a lot of time to kill people. Like, a lot of time. And she doesn't have access to items such as Runans because they simply don't do anything on your champion. Well, not much, because Vayne's primary source of damage is still a second ability, which is percentage max true damage after 3 hits, like every 3 hits. But you can only stack it on one target at the same time. So Runaan's really doesn't do much for her. This was a really sketchy situation, because if the enemy gets a CC off earlier, you're just stuck there and probably just die. But the enemy gets collapsed on. You see, Vayne just, I don't know, it just doesn't do much. Even though she's now ridiculously fed. People just jump you, you just can't really defend yourself. And now the Eep is on her way. Let's see what happens to her. I can't even steal away the camp, unfortunately. Do you see the amount of burn damage bro does? Eep is being procced. Can't turn around. Needs to be careful. Why? 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 You see, there was like so many decisions that could have been made, and then it's like, oh, let me go in and just die. Okay. Why not? Why not? But it's a very peculiar rune setup, if you ask me. Red main is crazy. Lilia is also a champion that can kill Riven now. Like, Lilia has reached 3 items, so Riven can die to Lilia. Because, realistically speaking, if Lilia plays it well, Riven can't reach her. And if that is the case, then Lilia's just gonna run circles around you and you will simply die. Nice cancel here. Good damage onto Camille. Tower's 1 HP. Gets immediately killed. Lilia on the other side of the map. Dragon Soul being secured. A little bit too late over Zhonya's. Doesn't matter though. Good stuff. We still have ult available. Flash coming up in 23 seconds. So that's what simply we're waiting for. Just a good scenario in which we can utilize our flash. And then just win the game for free. Lilia is sleeping the Aatrox. Not much happens after though. Something you have to be really aware of is Lilia asleep. Wasting it can cost you so much. But getting a good Lilia ult, like in late game, it's all about 2 different ways of playing. Flash Q into ult and stasis. Number 2 is hitting like your bowling ball very well into just sleeping them and then running after them. These are like the 2 typical ways of using it. Okay, cinched. Oh, awkward. To be fair, the problem is we just invested our flash for this. Which means our flash will not be available during Baron Nashor. And the next fight that's going to happen, that is a game deciding, is going to be the Baron fight. So this kill here, realistically speaking, doesn't really do anything for you. And now since we don't have another layer of defense in the form of our flash, it's going to be so much more difficult for zero reason. Aatrox jumping in. Sinch farting all over the place with lightning speed. Maokai a little bit delayed, living in another galaxy, given his delay. There's so many wards in there. All wards are gone. Lilia is too far away, can't contest this. We have now a 17.5 minute Baron buff. And Elder is coming up too, so Riven will not have Elder nor Flash. Damn, this Vayne is super tanky. But yeah, it's still an 80 carry. Wandering through the mid lane alone at this time is simply asking to lose. Nobody's here, this means the game is over. GG, well played. What can you do? You know why. As per usual, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and check out that channel in the description below. If you want to watch the last game, check out their channel as well. And we see each other for more content very soon. Take care. Bye bye.